guys! Today we'll be recapping a story called Obsidian Bride. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot. Enjoy! This story supports the notion that marriage should be a natural outcome of romantic love and calls for an end to the practice of prearranged marriages. Tonight, a noble lady with curly golden hair receives a special letter from an owl inviting her to take part in the Treasure Box, an event where people who sparkle like jewels come together to find true love. Luri is currently reading an article in the newspaper that states that the fifth participant in the event has been picked. However, it looks like the true love that they speak of is only possible for the chosen ones. As she clenches the paper, her eyes wander to the bed, where her husband, whom she wed only yesterday, lies still and wasted. Their marriage is not love-based, but rather arranged because her family has fallen, and as the ex-wife's daughter, she has been abandoned and sold off. Even at a young age, her sister bullies her and throws her into the pond, but no one cares to save her, so all she can do is sink. She's been feeling this way ever since, and when she married her husband, she felt as though she had reached her lowest point. On their wedding night, our innocent girl remembered a line from a book she had read before. Couples must share themselves without clothes, even if they do not know each other. She was obligated to do this, so she attempted to ask her husband if they could at least have a brief conversation as newlyweds. However, he smirked, telling her it was foolish that he had paid a lot of money to marry her just for a conversation, leaving her speechless. The next day, her husband, Count Liza, is disturbed by how gloomy she is and refuses to look at him, so he walks out of the room while the maids whisper, believing Luri will hang herself like the previous one. So this isn't the guy's first marriage, and he's been abusive and disgusting ever since. When Luri was younger, she used to run away to the library and read books to escape reality, so she chooses to go to the basement, where Count Liza used to keep the valuables he gained from trading. She enters, hoping to find rare books, but she becomes uneasy that all the room has are dead and mummified creatures. She feels sick to her stomach at the thought of marrying someone with such a hobby, and she realizes no one can save her from her dysfunctional life. Her vision goes black, and she stands on the balcony, ready to take her own life, when, out of nowhere, an owl arrives with an invitation to the jewelry box. She is from a fallen family and is already married, so she assumes that this must be an error. Yet she doesn't care anymore and just kisses the letter as a sign that she accepts. Right after that, she is taken aback as her eyes, hair, and dress undergo a sudden transformation, turning into an intriguing shade of purple and black. Oh, wow, she looks stunning and confident. Luri's stiletto is the only thing the Count finds when he checks on her. Love how she transformed and disappeared. Plus, no lengthy abuse, thank goodness. Luri is warped someplace where a very elegant man readily catches her and welcomes her to the jewelry box. He identifies himself as Moon Owl, the event's organizer, and says that she is currently in the lounge area for the participants. Luri then examines the participants' shadow portraits and notices that she is named Obsidian, which she finds unbelievable given that she does not fit the requirements for participation. Participants are gemstone aliases, and their look will change to reflect the gem name they were given, while concealing their identity, age, and status in hopes that it will not hinder them from finding their true love. The event's participants will be confined to a place, and those who fall in love with one another will reveal their identities at the end. If their feelings stay the same after they come to show their true selves, the Empire will throw them a lavish wedding in the capital and broadcast it live with the help of magical stones. Even the Empire's crown prince found his princess at the first jewelry box, paving the way for the era of love weddings to thrive over political marriages. The people go crazy watching this event, which entices more noble families because even if they do not end up with a pair in the event but do well on the show, they can still get popularity and support from the public. So, basically this is a dating show. Only the most esteemed nobility from each of the 8 kingdoms are invited to partake in this event, which makes Luri wonder why she was selected. Mr. Eyepatch then shows Luri a clip of the blonde-haired girl she saw in the newspaper, Marianne Ceres, who is the most popular gem in the 4th jewelry box. Her alias was Pink Diamond, and she captured the hearts of the entire empire. Mr. Moon Owl reveals that Marianne has already started a family with her husband, but she tragically lost him 2 years ago, which is why she decided to attend the 5th jewelry box event in the hopes of meeting her future marriage partner. He then mentions that where Luri is seated is where Marianne should be, but she disappeared last night, something the other participants and viewers should never know. Following that, he declares that they need a replacement for Marianne, as their appearances will be changed, making it impossible for anyone to tell them apart. He requires someone with a strong motivation to keep his secret and never betray him, which is her, a desperate woman. He then shows her a live clip of Count Liza searching for her, which causes her to shiver in fear, prompting Mr. Moon to promise that he will help her remarry, or that if she prefers to remain alone, he will do so as long as she plays the role of Marianne. It may seem absurd, but this is Luri's chance, so she accepts, prompting Mr. Moon to tell her more about her job. After that, she is the first one to arrive on the island. And can we please appreciate how lovely she looks in that dress and that hairpiece? Next, a princely-looking white-haired man shows up, greets her immediately, and kneels on one knee to kiss her hand. Slow down, lover boy. The guy reveals his gem name, Platinum, and decides to guess Luri's name based on her black hair and eyes. He suspects that she could be a black sapphire or black spinel. And last, he whispers to her ears, taunting that she may be using diamond again this time, believing that she's Marianne, who used pink diamond the last time. Remembering Mr. Moon's counsel to imitate Marianne, the loved and never-been-rejected lady, she hides her startled expression, smiles mischievously, and claims he's mistaken, hoping the next gentleman will be able to guess her name. Indeed, a distinguished gentleman with glasses appears, introduces himself as Alexandrite, and proceeds to ask Luri's name while ignoring Platinum. She lets him guess, and like Platinum, he guesses Black Diamond, which Platinum joyfully states is incorrect. Then the last guy appears, and unlike their disguises, this red-haired man appears younger and shorter than the other two. In short, a cutie. He introduces himself as Garnet, and once again guesses Luri's name as Black Diamond, which makes Platinum chuckle while informing Garnet that he's wrong. After that, two more ladies walk in. The one with short hair appears confident, but the shorter girl with lilac hair is a little clumsier. The first thing that happens to her is that she falls and hits her head, while the other lady helps her get up. Now that everyone has gathered, a blue animated owl appears to welcome them to the 5th Hunger Games. Kidding. To the 5th jewelry box. According to Moon Owl, everything here is meticulously designed for the show, so there's no way to get in touch with the outside world, and no one can ever expose their true identity thanks to the security spell they created. Following that, 2 magical circles appear on the ground, transporting them to various sections of the island. However, each circle can only transport 3 individuals, so they must form a group and proceed together. The charming lady with short hair is the first to enter the circle, and the clumsy girl follows her but slips again, prompting Garnet to assist her and join them. Alexandrite, on the other hand, politely asks Luri to join the other magic circle, which she accepts, while Platinum holds her hand and attempts to flirt with her while using his charming smile. This guy is too touchy. Meanwhile, outside, the Emperor and Empress, along with the Prince and Princess, are monitoring the entire event and are intrigued by how the participants are divided. Before entering the jewelry box, the gems had a pre-interview in which they asked the men who their ideal type was. Platinum said someone who is seductive, like Pink Diamond, and Alexandrite likes individuals who are confident and honest, like Marianne. Despite Marianne's disguise, both Platinum and Alexandrite are certain they will recognize her on the 5th jewelry box, prompting the royal panel to wonder whether Marianne is actually Obsidian, Luri's gem name. The show has kept viewers guessing which gem is Marianne, so they're all quite thrilled. Luri's group is taken into the mansion where they will be staying and decide to explore the bedroom and dining area. They then all go outside and decide to follow the beautiful pathway that connects to the forest and sea. But they discover that the place isn't very big, which bothers Alex because being trapped inside a small space would be so exhausting. While Platinum sees the smallness of the place as a positive, believing that it will bring them all closer together. He then turns around and calls Luri a secretive lady, prompting her to reveal her gem name, Obsidian. The jewel name of each participant is automatically set by magic based on their distinctive characteristics. So being given a mineral name instead of a jewel name makes Luri nervous, as she believes it's all because she's not a high-ranking noble. Obsidian is a mineral that cracks abruptly, and since Alex guesses Luri is Marianne, he believes she acquired the name because of her shattered heart, which calms Luri. She then starts to put on an act, avoiding giving him a direct answer. Instead, she grins and says that they should get to know her better because that's why they're all here, to find true love without ever having to reveal their true identities. Platinum agrees with her and tells her that his complete gem name is Pure Platinum, so he feels thrilled to show her how pure his love is. This guy is too flirty for my taste, but we'll see. After that, they decide to return to the mansion. Alex notices that Obsidian must be uncomfortable walking in heels, so he offers his hand for her to rely on. But Platinum cuts him off, claiming that holding hands will not relieve Obsidian's foot discomfort. Platinum proceeds to show him the correct approach, which is to carry Obsidian in a manner that Alex considers rude. Platinum mocks Alex, stating that being an old-fashioned guy is boring, and wonders if Obsidian will agree to him, which reminds her that Marianne will not be uncomfortable in this situation, so she claims that diverse guys are more enjoyable. This makes Platinum chuckle and be pleased that he succeeded in capturing Obsidian's interest, while Alexandrite loses the round. Aw, my guy values consent, so my bet is on you. Go fight for that love. All the while, the panel is dying to know which of Alex and Platinum Obsidian favors. So when she is interviewed by the staff and asked which gem she is most interested in, she feels worried and tries hard to figure out which one Marianne will choose, which Mr. Moon Owl notices. So he decides to assist Luri by using magic to communicate with her mentally, instructing her to simply respond honestly because it will be impossible to mimic Marianne's emotions. Asking her to respond based on her real feelings, he wants to know which man she has the strongest attraction to at the moment. You, mister, you! After a brief silence, Luri surprises everyone by sharing that she is currently not interested in anyone and expresses her desire to get to know them better, leaving Moon Owl stunned by this unexpected revelation. The royal panel admires her honesty and feels bad for Platinum, but they are now thrilled that Alexandrite and Garnet still have a chance. Meanwhile, in the men's dorm, Garnet complains about the clumsy participants' constant mishaps earlier, grumbling that the lady couldn't even find direction or open doors on her own. His face flushes in frustration while Alex curiously asks the ladies' names. Garnet promptly lets him know that the lady with pink hair is Pearl, while the clumsy lady is Amethyst. That evening, Moon Owl explains that for their first day of the jewelry box party, all of them need to make their own dinner. Each can choose, add their desired ingredients, and complete the dish. Garnet begins selecting from the vegetables, but Platinum reminds him that he must select the one he is confident in preparing. Meanwhile, Amethyst is in a panic, unsure of what to do, and Garnet notices her picking a carrot, which worries him. He goes on to explain that the carrot is hard and round, and if it slips, it could hurt her hand. As a result, he decides to handle it himself, making her blush. Pearl and Platinum giggle, recalling a jewel from the previous show who accidentally cut her hand while peeling potatoes because she was a spoiled princess. They're talking nonstop when Platinum pauses to glance at Obsidian, who effortlessly slices the fish. Luri becomes aware of their curious gazes directed towards her, leaving her confused, and prompting Pearl to point out to her that Pink Diamond used to hate blood and knives, whereas Obsidian seems skilled. The fear in Luri's eyes is evident as her instinct to do chores emerges, and this is due to her family treating her like a maid. She panics and doesn't know what to say when Moon Owl notices this and prepares to rescue her. Just in time, Alex informs her that it's fine because he can identify her personality by the way she holds the knife, concluding that she is a delicate and meticulous person that he admires while gazing at Obsidian. Plus points for my guy. Alex then offers to assist Obsidian, which she eagerly agrees to, and they both become engrossed in the kitchen tasks while Platinum looks on with envy. They are ready to eat the food they prepared, and Platinum is surprised to find that it tastes even better than he expected. Pearl chuckles at his comment, prompting him to clarify that he remembers the unusual foods from the first season of the jewelry box, to which Alex nods in agreement. Garnet is amazed that Alex and Platinum can recall the first jewelry box, which aired 20 years ago, causing them to pause while Pearl realizes they are both rather old. I am getting curious. However, Alex quickly informs them about the regular airing of reruns, and Platinum fakes a smile, claiming that the more mature a man is, the more attractive he appears. This makes Pearl wonder if it's against the rules to reveal the jewel's personal information. Alex decides to test this theory and quickly asks Garnet how old he was when the first season of Jewelry Box aired. Just as he prepares to respond, an unexpected mask suddenly covers his mouth, preventing him from speaking and leaving everyone stunned. Suddenly, Moon Owl appears before them, telling them that they cannot reveal anything about their true identity, and if they do, the protection spell will be activated immediately. If they activate the protective magic more than 3 times, they will be warned and lose their selected jewel for a one-on-one date. After that, Platinum shifts the topic and asks if it's acceptable to act entirely as someone else. Luri flinches, fearing he will suspect her of impersonating Marianne. Pearl agrees that acting is acceptable, and Platinum adds that the more secrets you have, the more curious the other person will be, and the more fun it will be. before turning to Obsidian and asking her opinion. Obsidian smiles and says he appears intrigued about her, while Platinum tells her outright that he is very curious, and it's driving him insane, prompting the royal panel to react to his public confession. However, they wonder if Obsidian is truly Marianne because she is a good cook, and they also believe Pearl is similar to Marianne because they have similar hair colors, which confuses them all. After dinner, Moon Owl explains that they will begin Affinity choice by writing a letter on the card supplied to them, placing it in the magic circle, and the recipient receives the card, and so they begin. Obsidian receives all 3 letters from the boys, surprising the panel. During the interview, the program staff asked why the boys chose Obsidian. Garnet admits that he was surprised by her knife skills, as he initially thought she was just a quiet and timid girl. Alex says he already liked Obsidian, but after conversing with her earlier, he feels like they're really a perfect match, while Platinum frankly states that he gave it to Obsidian because he's only interested in her. As for the girls, Amethyst chose Garnet, Pearl chose Platinum, and our girl chose Alexandrite since he seems nice to her. Well, Alex definitely deserves that vote. He showed genuine interest in her cooking. After the interview, Mr. Moon Owl stops the recording, switches his entire appearance to black, and congratulates Luri on a successful first day. Guys, I think my favorite color is now black. However, Luri is concerned because she made a mistake earlier. But Moon Owl assures her that it is fine because they already made Marianne go through cooking class, and what she did earlier is part of Marianne's act to ensure she blends in with the program. This makes her sigh with relief, but Moon Owl advises her to keep these errors to a minimum so that viewers don't suspect Marianne isn't in the show. He then sits next to her and they begin discussing today's shoot that night. Are you the main lead, mister? The following day in the jewelry box, Obsidian gets up early to check out the sea, and Platinum follows her, asking if the sea reminds her of her homeland. This reminds her of Moon Owl's comments that Marianne is a royal princess from the 8th Kingdom, Sierras, a country whose primary industry is marine trade. Luri is also from that country, and she believes she was picked as Marianne's substitute because they share the same nationality. However, she decides not to discuss Sierras in order to hide Marianne's identity. She offers him a seductive look and says that everyone would agree that the sea is lovely, and Platinum is completely smitten. He carries her again, and Luri chooses not to refuse because, according to Moon Owl, Marianne continued to have several lovers even after she married. The 6th Kingdom, Kylia, her husband's homeland, is a liberated country, and she regularly flirts with other nobles with the motto that before love, they should first determine whether their bodies are compatible. That missing girl might look innocent, but she is not. In that case, Luri chooses to inform Platinum that she dislikes dull things, prompting this guy to set her down and kiss her. Wow, already? As they share a kiss, Luri's mind drifts back to her first night with her husband, a memory that makes her flinch. Platinum senses her unease and stops the kiss to inquire about her well-being. This sudden question sends Luri into a state of panic as she frantically tries to channel Marianne's personality to guide her next move. Eventually, she decides to act coy and reveals that she actually didn't choose him yesterday. However, rather than being dismayed by this, Platinum leans closer to her and whispers that he is seducing her to make her choose him next time. You're moving too fast, sir. Slow down. The royal panel is intrigued by the unfolding events, as they appreciate Platinum's calculated approach to gradually taking her away, and they also feel that Alexandrite should be on his guard. Upon entering the house, Alex immediately notices Obsidian's wet feet. Concerned for her comfort, he gently tells her to sit down for a moment before softly drying her feet. See that? So sweet and attentive. Platinum then brings her a cinnamon pie, which Marianne enjoys, but Luri dislikes it, so she's unsure how to respond, which Alex notices, claiming that he is being impolite again by never asking if Obsidian loves the pie. Because of this, our girl insists on picking out her own food and goes off with Alex. Yeah, Alex totally wins because Platy thinks she's Marianne, but Alex is just trying to get to know her. They're all eating breakfast when Moon Owl enters and announces that a game has been prepared for them that day, with the winner receiving a romantic sea date coupon. So after breakfast, everyone comes in front of the beach where Moon Owl announces that the game is for the male jewels, and whoever wins will be able to choose 2 female jewels to spend a romantic time on the sea. The game is called Contredanse on Water, and the goal is to make all of your opponents fall into the sea, with the last person standing winning. All men are now in position. Platinum informs them that there is no need for them to be kind to one another, and Garnet agrees with it. Next, Garnet unleashes a relentless assault on Platinum, catching him off guard with his impressive power, despite being the smallest member of the group. At that moment, Moon Owl informs them that for the game, they will rely on their original body's power, weight, and strength rather than their transformed body's physical abilities, making Garnet more aggressive. For this round, I'm voting for this charming redhead, and I'm guessing maybe he's a knight. Platinum swings his sword at Garnet, who is impressed by his stance, but believes that Platinum's true body is not combat ready. Thus, when he swings his sword, Platinum nearly falls into the ocean. As Alex ponders the true strength of Garnet and wonders if Platinum might be less strong than anticipated, he makes the bold choice to engage Platinum in fighting. After a series of strikes, Alex comes to the conclusion that Platinum possesses impressive speed. At that moment, Garnet joins and attacks them, causing Alex to take notice of his strength, even with two people blocking his sword. Meanwhile, Garnet's unexpected strength astonishes the royal panel, leading them to speculate that the female jewel's perception of Garnet may have also shifted. Indeed, his strength surpasses both of them, which is quite surprising. However, in the midst of their intense battle, Alexandrite asks Platinum about his confidence in his ability to defeat Garnet if he is eliminated. When Platinum is unable to provide an answer, Alexandrite urges them to work as a team, advising Platinum to use him as a foothold to jump. This helps Platinum quickly understand that Garnet is more comfortable with a larger, heavier body and may struggle with attacks from above. Platinum swiftly executes his winning attack, causing Garnet to lose his balance and creating an opportunity for Alex to strike. Garnet fell as a result, leading to his elimination. Now it's a duel between Alex and Platinum. Platinum then tells Alex that they work better together than he expected, but their alliance ends as he begins to attack him. Amethyst is concerned for Garnet, who is enraged after being eliminated, while Pearl gives him a thumbs up, saying he did well and asking who he thinks will win. Garnet then tells Pearl that Platinum's skill is speed, while Alex is his strength. But one guy's breathing is unusual, leading Obsidian to wonder who he's referring to. Back on the battle platform, Platinum is struggling to breathe normally, and Alex notices this. Alex makes fun of Platinum and tells him that his endurance appears to be decreasing, but Platinum continues to be arrogant and says that the game will be over soon. He braces himself to strike Alex with all of his remaining strength, but a sensation on his chest prevents him from moving as Alex attacks him, causing him to fall and face elimination, making Alexandrite the final winner. So Platty's heart is weak. So I guess he's either sick or a grandpa. Then Moon Owl allows Alex to select 2 female jewels to go on a date with them. Yay! My guy won! Anyway, someone check on Platty. He may be excessively flirtatious, but no one wants him to die from drowning. Alex joyfully chooses Obsidian and Pearl, and the 3 of them end up going on a boat ride and having tea together. Alex asks the lady what their ideal type is and discovers that Pearl prefers guys who are extremely cute, whereas Obsidian prefers a man who can offer her new feelings every day. In short, someone who is not boring, which Alex perceives is the exact opposite of him, prompting Obsidian to make up an explanation not to hurt his feelings by claiming that he feels new to her. Pearl chooses to back her up, claiming that opposites attract, which the royal panel notices and suspects Pearl is attempting to pair the 2 so she can have Platinum. Pearl is intrigued by Alex's gem name because Alexandrite is a jewel that can change color, from emerald in the morning to ruby red at night. She then asks with a mischievous grin if his character also changes during the day and night. Someone who changes? Gosh, the mystery! Obsidian asks Alex what he does in the evenings and is delighted to find that he enjoys reading, particularly ancient languages. She beams a smile because she too used to read all the books about ancient languages, and she grows excited talking about them, which makes Alex smile because he never imagined he meets someone who enjoys ancient languages like him. Wow, they hit it off, didn't they? As she drinks her tea, Pearl realizes that she has never seen Obsidian this dazzling before. Meanwhile, Garnet is sitting on a tree branch when he notices Amethyst attempting to climb the tree but falling down, so Garnet descends to help her. Our clumsy girl overheard him whining about his transformation, prompting him to explain that he is simply uncomfortable and begins acting proud, assuming that the show must have made him smaller since if he had his true appearance, every girl would pursue after him. This prompts Amethyst to express her gratitude for their transformation magic and admit that she will be deeply saddened if he becomes more famous. The panel is swooning right now at her confession, but this guy doesn't understand it at all. How was he able to compete on this dating program when he's so dense? Thank goodness he's cute. He's presently in their dorm, overthinking what Amethyst meant earlier and concluding that she hates him. Platinum glances at him in disbelief, realizing that all of his talents are flowing through his muscles rather than his head. And I second the motion. Just then, Moon Owl makes an announcement about the meeting of truth. Jules will need to match in order to win a day off the island and be able to speak freely. Ooh, who will Obsidian choose this time? When the three of them return from their boat ride, Platinum greets them and immediately asks Obsidian for some time alone, which our girl has no choice but to agree to. After that, Garnet shows up, intending to challenge the boys to another duel. But as Platinum has already left, Pearl decides to join him and Alex instead for entertainment. I like Pearl's outgoing and bold personality. As soon as they get on the field, they all ride their horses and start to play polo, with Pearl and Alex joining up to beat Garnet, while Amethyst can only look at them from a distance because she lacks confidence in her skills, unlike them who are so sporty. Is her real self sickly? Meanwhile, Platinum takes Obsidian to the garden to show her something interesting, claiming that because the entire location has been created with magic, he makes the ordinary green tree bloom into a pink one, which amazes her so much. Okay, so he can use magic, so is he a mage prince? Platinum happily reveals that he infused the tree with mana, and as he presents her with a flower, he lovingly inquires if she likes it, causing her cheeks to flush slightly as she admits that she does. He decides to do his little act on another tree after seeing how much fun it is for her, but then he starts feeling a sharp pain in his chest and begins coughing. Obsidian reaches out to help him as he tumbles, but he pushes her hand away, shocking them both. He calms down, apologizes to her, and while still trembling, claims that he's only sneezy due to the flower pollen. Obsidian, on the other hand, notices that Platinum is in pain and asks him if he wants to sit, but he declines, leading her to believe that he dislikes showing his pain in front of the cameras. So she uses herself as an excuse to sit down, claiming that her feet are already hurting, which he willingly accepts. They sit silently on the bench for a time, and when Platinum starts to feel better, he apologizes again and kisses her hand. This makes Obsidian chuckle, but he's serious when he says he wants to apologize to her again, which she finds adorable like a puppy. I prefer this side of him than his extremely flirtatious one. Leaning his head on her shoulder, he says he can be her adorable puppy and hopes that she will give him the opportunity to get to know him better, all the while assuring her that he will keep her hooked. I spoke too soon. He's really flirty. The trio arrives at the mansion, and it appears that Alex and Pearl have lost to Garnet. After Pearl continues to grumble about how poor their teamwork is, Alex apologizes. Alex then spots a leaf in Amethyst's hair, which causes Pearl to question if Amethyst went to the forest. Did she practice horseback riding by herself? And can I just say how observant my guy Alex is? And how well he accepts responsibility by apologizing to Pearl? Everyone then gathers at the dining table and begins speaking about the polo game from earlier. Pearl invites Obsidian to play with them next time, but instead of declaring she doesn't know how to ride a horse, she simply states that she's not fond of it. Marianne undoubtedly knows how to ride a horse, but Lori has never ridden one before, so this is the safe answer until Platinum offers to accompany her on a ride to show her how much fun it can be. Once again, my guy here, Alex, comes to her rescue, assuring her that she doesn't have to force herself to do something she dislikes. Such a green flag, exactly like his hair. After that, Pearl proposes they have a dance party, at which point she trolls Garnet by saying he ought to be able to dance because it's like working out, a claim that he quickly disapproves of. Pearl then makes fun of Garnet's confidence, claiming that he might just step on her foot, so in response, Garnet reconsiders and decides to prove to Pearl how amazing he is. The panel is overjoyed by Garnet and Pearl's surprising connection, while Amethyst appears disappointed and unable to join their talk. The time is finally here for the meeting of truth, and the female Jules have already selected the one they want to date. So the guys must go to the magic circle one by one and say the name of the lady they wish to date. This segment's rule is plain and simple. In order to be sent out of the island, the person you choose must also pick you. If they don't match, then you'll be compelled to stay in the mansion. And during the meeting of truth, the security spell will be lifted, allowing the couple to reveal more personal details about themselves, but they'll not be able to tell anyone else. Garnet is the first to decide, and he picks Pearl, so he waits anxiously to hear the staircase, hoping Pearl will show up and choose him as well. Pearl, who looks stunning in her attire, does indeed appear, much to his relief, and he and Pearl go into the magic circle to be transported. Aww, I feel bad for Amethyst. Now it's Alex's and Platinum's turn to choose, and no surprise, they both choose Obsidian. She better pick my kind, attentive, calm, classy with specs Alex. Obsidian goes down the stairs, and oh my, I still can't get over how gorgeous she looks in black. However, my girl did not choose Alex and instead went to Platinum, who is overjoyed to see her choose him. He kneels and kisses the back of her hand, assuring her she'll never regret choosing him. But being alone with this guy is dangerous. Actually, there's an explanation behind this. Just an hour earlier, Moon Owl appeared right when she was ready to write down the name of the man she wished to choose. She planned to choose Alex because she felt it would be more comfortable to be with him. Yes, you can read books and truly have fun. However, when Moon Owl inquired as to her reason, she shyly confessed that she likes his calm personality and that they share similar hobbies, prompting him to sigh and reveal that Alexandrite is from the 5th Empire, Urukon, which is the neighboring kingdom of Kylia, the 6th Empire, and the two nations are trading partners. Moon Owl is concerned that the two must have met, given that Marianne is the queen of the Kyla following her marriage. They may be close or simply pass each other by, but because the pair will be able to discuss personal information in meeting the truth, Alex may be able to tell that she isn't Marianne. At that point, Moon Owl requested Luri select another man, which bothered her, but she had no other options. Returning to the present, she and Platinum step onto the magic circle and are transported as well. She is visibly sweating, indicating that she feels compelled to do this, while my poor boy Alex looks so hurt and decides to just head back to his room, much like Amethyst, who was not picked. My heart goes out for these two. Anyway, no one mentioned that the couple that matches would go to a lovely romantic location, right? So when Garnet and Pearl are transferred, they are startled to find themselves in the desert, while Obsidian and Platinum are sent to a snowfield. The couples appear confused, but according to Moon Owl, there's a purpose to this situation. It will teach them to rely on each other and discover who they really are when times become tough. He continues by saying that everything they need is in their suitcase, and before he goes, this adorable animated Moon Owl wishes them to survive until morning. Pearl and Garnet unlock the luggage and discover a jar containing high-quality magic stones and boxes. They try to put one magic stone in a box labeled Sleeping Tool, and it quickly converts into beds. The two start examining what else they have and notice that there are boxes for food, medicine, and environment optimization, which sounds unusual to Garnet. So with everything they need provided, what is there to survive? Meanwhile, out in the snowfield, Obsidian and Platinum decide to use the environment optimization box and are surprised to discover that it is actually a small, clear shelter where they would be safe from the cold. Platinum, being the hopeless romantic that he is, suggests that they look for a better spot to settle, so they start exploring, when Obsidian notices him panting again. She asks him not to push himself, saying she's fine anywhere, but he can't let that happen as he wants to spend their precious time together on top of the hill, where they can see the beautiful night sky. Look at them holding hands with such amazement when they locate the perfect area where everything is flat white, causing him to flush and say that Obsidian will shine brighter here. He is such a cutie here. Returning to the more fun pair, these two are actually enjoying the oasis they discover. Pearl loves being in the water while Garnet spears a fish to eat instead of using their tools. The royal panel enjoys the fact that the two are camping, and their easygoing personalities complement each other so that they do not feel uncomfortable in the desert. Pearl finds the fish he cooked to be quite good, prompting Garnet to reveal that he used to perform things like this during training that his country requires even a royal to complete. This is it. We're getting information! He shares that they are required to endure a week of desert survival when they are 14 years old, which leads Pearl to reveal that her actual name is Layla von Hatis, the princess of Kingdom 7, Hatis. As a result, Garnet makes the decision to be open about his identity as well, stating that he is Prince Raisander Arima von Salvador of Kingdom 7, Salvador. So when they said this show was for high-ranking nobles, they meant royalties. Salvador is the Kingdom of the Sun, located in the south opposite Hatis. And those who live there are skilled in martial arts, whereas Hatis dominates the sea, hence Layla enjoys swimming. Race then casually mentions that he has 5 elder brothers, which shocks Layla and makes her kind of envy him because she is an only child, so her father has no one to pass on the throne to but her. She entered the show to find a man who'd be willing to marry her and live in her country. So she asks Race if it is legal for a prince from his country to leave for his bride's country. However, as you all know, this guy, Prince, is all muscle and no brain power, so he has no idea if they are permitted, causing Layla to sigh. If they manage to win the jewel box, they will gain sovereignty over their homeland and be able to exercise greater control than the imperial governor sent to their country. So the people who are watching from Salvador don't want their prince to marry Layla and leave their country. So everyone is hoping that he will either choose obsidian or amethyst. Uh-oh, it appears like things are becoming somewhat more political. Anyway, enough of them. Obsidian and Platinum are now enjoying a hot cup of tea, and our girl is getting ready to share information about Marianne when, surprise, surprise, this guy plants another passionate kiss on her, pushes her to the floor, and repeats Marianne's motto in her ear. They should check their physical compatibility. Okay, that's just creepy. Mr. Moon Owl, do something! Well, it seems that our worries were put to rest because a few hours earlier, Obsidian had a conversation with Moon Owl about her concerns regarding Platinum. She expressed her worry that he might perceive her as liberated like Marianne. She's not confident that she will react like Marianne would, and since they'll be spending the whole day together, she is feeling a bit anxious. Moon Owl sees her shaking, so he kneels before her to reassure her that she does not need to worry because as the show's game maker, he makes all the decisions, including where to send the jewels for the meeting of truth. He then smiles, claiming that there will be no opportunity for Platinum to tempt her, leaving her perplexed as to what he means. He's such a cutie when he smiles. Back in the present, Platinum is still kissing Obsidian when he suddenly hears a strange noise, causing him to abruptly stop. They are both surprised to see wolves outside the barrier, prepared to attack them. Fortunately, the protection barrier prevents any intrusion, ensuring the safety of both individuals inside, and eventually, the wolves leave. However, Obsidian is wary of the possibility that other animals will arrive. Platinum, on the other hand, reassures her that they should remain in their current location and trust in the power of Imperial protection magic. Obsidian then suggests lowering the brightness of the lights, and they both settle into a peaceful silence, until they sense animals lurking again. She remembers her conversation with Moon Owl and realizes that he must have orchestrated the arrival of those wolves to divert Platinum's attention away from her. Suddenly, Platinum gently drapes the blanket over her shoulders, encouraging her to rest, promising to stay awake to monitor the magic stone. However, his touch on her shoulder causes her to feel uneasy, prompting her to inform him that she is not tired. This leads Platinum to resume flirting and wonders if they should pick up where they left off, which surprises her. Gosh, he is so obsessed! He swiftly takes her hand and places it on his chest, asking if she can feel his heartbeat and stating that he had been thinking about her all day. She then asks what he would do if she were not who he believed she was. Platinum advises her to conceal her identity to prevent her from misinterpreting his attraction to her background, and he promises to show his genuine feelings for her. I'm a sucker for slow burn romance, so Platty's move is a bit too much for me. Meanwhile, the second couple is in a contrasting situation, as Garnet is brimming with anger over the prospect of them spending the night together. Even though there are two separate beds, he views this as equivalent to sleeping together since they're still in the same room. He proceeds to inquire about how an unmarried man and woman can share a room, leaving Pearl at a loss for words. Totally different from the other two! Garnet ends up sleeping outside with a sleeping bag while Pearl comfortably rests on the bed. She is concerned for him, but he confidently reassures her that the Salvador warrior is not bothered by the cold and that the bed is too small for him. Little does he know, the control room has a clever plan for him to sleep on the bed. Garnet continues to act so proud that he would often excavate holes and sleep in the sand as part of his training. But upon hearing a strange noise and spotting red-tailed scorpions approaching, he lets out a scream and quickly retreats to the safety of the bed. This makes Pearl laugh out loud and tease him that Salvador warriors are afraid of scorpions, while he explains that one sting from a red-tailed scorpion is lethal. Pearl then believes that living with him will be fun because they are around the same age and have similar personalities and hobbies, which Garnet agrees with. Meanwhile, the panel carefully watches the evolving dynamic between Garnet and Pearl. Pearl expresses interest in Garnet, but they believe it will be difficult for her to choose him as her life partner despite their chemistry. Back on the island, Alex notices that Amethyst isn't eating her food, prompting her to explain that she's lost in thought, wondering what the other four members are doing. Alex then explains that, according to the announcement, they will be spending their day together in a particular environment that might be challenging. This causes Amethyst to feel concerned, hoping that they won't encounter any difficulties. She then reveals that she's been practicing riding a horse so she could do activities with Garnet, but she's been struggling, which surprises Alex. They decide to proceed to the field where she showcases her not-so-skilled horseback riding, almost causing her to fall down. Alex calms the horse, while Amethyst confesses that horseback riding may bring her closer to Garnet. Despite being rejected, she refuses to give up, which Alex finds admirable and decides to teach her. Meanwhile, the panel is pleased to witness Amethyst's ongoing display of bravery and determination, and they believe that Alex's perception of Amethyst has shifted. I really like Alex's kind nature. That evening, Obsidian awakens when she hears Platinum cough and decides to check on him. She is astonished to see that he is breathing heavily and has a fever, which causes her to panic. She is preparing to retrieve their medical supplies when Platinum grabs her sleeves, pleading with her not to leave and telling her that everything will be well soon. She then advises bringing the heater closer to him because she thinks he's cold. However, with his seductive stare, he asks her to stay by his side instead, leaving her speechless. Honey, just take the medicine and stop flirting for a change. Lori appears to be in a different situation, but given that she has no choice but to think like the playful Marianne, she musters bravery and decides to lie down on the side of Platinum's bed. She pats his chest like a baby and asks if he wants her to sing him a lullaby, which makes him blush and snuggle closer to her. After a moment, she is glad that his breathing has returned to normal, prompting him to express his gratitude, and in exchange, he swears to repay the favor while tenderly kissing her hand and saying that she can inform him at any time. The royal panel believes Platinum's statements are more about honestly expressing gratitude than flirting, which leads them to assume that he's truly in love and hope that Obsidian feels it too. The next morning, the two pairs teleport back to the mansion, where Amethyst and Alex await them. When Alex inquires as to whether they had fun, Pearl and Platinum both respond positively, but Platinum is concerned that Obsidian's had a rough night's sleep. The fact that Obsidian smiles broadly and says that it was an exciting new experience for her brings Alex down again. Now in her room, Obsidian couldn't sleep at all, so Moon Owl appears in his signature black compression shirt and urges her to rest for a while since she had gone through a lot yesterday. She sits down and uses the chance to ask if Platinum is seriously ill, having noticed him acting strangely and hurt. Moon Owl is surprised by her question because he expected her to be more worried now and ask him how long she should continue acting like Marianne. Lori didn't think about it because, according to their agreement, she must continue to be Marianne's substitute until he finds her. However, he notes that he also promised her to find Marianne as soon as possible, but Lori never asks or rushes him, instead adapting to the show extremely well, which makes her tense. Moon Owl takes a seat on Luri's bed and says that he really thought she'd be awkward around Platinum, prompting her to clarify that she is merely imitating Marianne. However, when Moon Owl asks if the actual reason she isn't uncomfortable is because she's developing feelings for Platinum, Luri is unable to respond until he suggests that it would be better if she did. This surprises her, which leads him to remind her that Alex might be Marianne's acquaintance, and if she has affection for him but avoids him, the others might notice and find her strange. When Moon Owl asks if she's willing to build a love line with Platinum, she becomes quite shy and is unsure how to react. Who is the male lead anyway? He does not receive an answer, so he asks if she dislikes Platinum, which she denies, so he believes there is no reason for her not to grow closer to him. Luri stutters and becomes quite nervous as she says that Platinum might think she likes him, which could worsen his flirtatious behavior, such as kissing. Moon Owl gets confused by this and inquires as to whether she feels uneasy with physical contact. He then reminds her that, within the show, contact is allowed with mutual consent. Well, duh, that's the problem. That man doesn't give any warning. Luri understands him, but her concern is that she has no experience with intimate contact, which worries Moon Owl because, even though Luri was not in a happy marriage, he is certain that she and her husband must have done the obligatory deed, making her even more embarrassed and admitting that they didn't. Remember the night of their wedding when Luri requested her perv husband to wait, but he didn't listen and only saw her as someone he bought? He actually pushed her to drink inexpensive wine, which she did by gulping it in one go, leaving her dizzy and throwing up all over his body. I'm very relieved, and he completely deserved it, because he's gross. Thank you, expensive wine. She then tells Moon Owl that she fainted that night and awoke the next morning to the maids telling her that her husband went out the night before and had fun with women. Moon Owl couldn't believe he had made such a mistake in selecting such an innocent girl, especially when one of the reasons Luri was chosen was that she was married. This then puzzles him as to why she's so excellent at acting like Marianne, and he discovers that Luri actually enjoys watching the show. And during the 4th season, she thought Pink Diamond was amazing, so she imitated her. And now she's being used by that show, which is sad. During lunch, Obsidian does not join them, so Platinum plans to bring her some desserts, but instead becomes ecstatic when he sees her walking down the stairs. He rushes towards her like a puppy and presents her with a box of dessert, but Alex interrupts, asking if she's feeling better now and sweetly requesting if they can have a quiet conversation together. However, our girl picks Platinum, claiming that they have a prior appointment, which makes this guy blush while my good boy Alex appears completely heartbroken. Oh gosh, my heart hurts for him. My boy finds it disheartening, but he honors her choice and lets them be. After he goes, Platinum becomes very excited and carries Obsidian, asking where they should go. When she says she wants somewhere quiet, he decides to take her outside and mount her on a horse. They reach a bench where they can sit and talk, but as Platinum helps her get off the horse, he takes advantage of the opportunity to kiss her again, something our girl clearly dislikes. She pushes him away, making him seem distressed, while she turns aside, sorrowful, revealing that there is still someone she cannot forget. This was actually Moon Owl's plan, since he believed that while Marianne is a carefree, flirting lady, she had recently lost her husband in an awful accident, so it would be safe for her to act differently than in the 4th season. He instructed her to pretend that she cannot forget her husband so that she can behave as disturbed while getting too close to another man. Obsidian then continues her act, stating that because they cannot share real information, all she can say is that she still needs time to forget this person, and if Platinum's feelings for her are genuine, he should be able to wait for her to heal. Platinum soon apologizes and hugs her, looking miserable as he realizes that all along he's been concentrating on his own feelings and ignoring hers. Then he makes a promise to be there for her, just like a devoted dog, for as long as it takes. I understand that Platty is a nice guy, but the person he loves is Marianne, not the one in front of him. Meanwhile, the royal panel, which is watching this unfold, is convinced that Obsidian is Marianne, and that she is talking about her late husband. During the 4th season, everyone adored Marianne and Viserys' romance, and when Viserys passed away, the entire empire mourned. The announcement of Marianne's involvement in the 5th season stunned everyone, especially since it had only been 2 years since her husband died, prompting them to show a recording of Marianne's interview. In that interview, they asked Marianne why she opted to remarry, which she expected, and pointed out that she hasn't moved on from Viserys, but their country, Kylia, will not accept a woman to succeed the throne. Unfortunately, she and Viserys do not have children, thus, at this point, Kylia will have to give up sovereignty to the Empire's governor, which she knows her late husband and their country would not approve of. However, if she does remarry through the show, she will be able to maintain her position as Queen of Kylia, and she cried in that interview, hoping that her late husband will guide her. The people of Kylia who are currently watching the show begin to feel sympathy and understand why she eagerly participated. They sincerely believe that Obsidian is Marianne, and since Platinum's feelings for her are genuine, they all agree that he should become king. Meanwhile, Moon Owl, who is in the monitoring room, replays the scenes where Platinum kissed Obsidian, and what's that look, mister? It looks like someone is troubled. Is he jealous? Well, it's not hard to fall for our girl. Inside the mansion, the 4 jewels gather for tea, and Pearl expresses her confusion about Obsidian and Platinum going out together again, as she never expected their relationship to progress so quickly, which Garnet believes is normal, given that he assumes those two are already dating. Although this may be true, Pearl is taken aback by Obsidian's choice of Platinum because she notices how radiant Obsidian appears when she speaks with Alex. Instead of dwelling on the romantic relationships of others, Pearl chooses to stretch and invites Alex to go horseback riding with her. Given that Garnet and Amethyst have both expressed an interest in joining them, she proposes a fun activity, a race around the island, with the winner being determined by who gets to the end first. After that, Alex wants to know how they'll divide up the team, so they play rock, paper, scissors. Cuties. Now they're in the race, with Alex and Pearl on one horse and Garnet and Amethyst following closely behind. Garnet is concerned that Amethyst would fall, so he takes her hand and presses her to hold him, making both of them blush. Yes, a comeback for these two! Unfortunately, Amethyst starts to feel lightheaded throughout the race, and they end up losing, with Pearl receiving their horse as a reward. She then teases the two into going for a nice walk and returning home, while also asking Alex for another race. Amethyst and Garnet stroll silently along until our clumsy girl decides to break the ice and apologizes for causing him to lose the race, which irritates him because he does not blame people when he loses. He believes Amethyst views him as a narrow-minded guy and asks her to leave if she dislikes him, which puzzles her. She then becomes surprised that Garnet believes she is intentionally making him irritated because she dislikes him, leading her to cry. This startles Garnet, while Amethyst tries to collect herself and says that she doesn't hate him at all, given how nice he has been to her since day one. She goes on to say that all she wants is to be by his side, and she runs away, apologizing for bothering him. Hopefully Redhead will finally realize that Amethyst has feelings for him. Meanwhile, Pearl and Alex race, until Alex comes to a halt when he notices Obsidian and Platinum beaming at one another from a distance. Pearl suggests that they join them, but Alex appears to have lost his courage to get in between the two, when the horse Obsidian is riding suddenly gets wild, forcing her to fall down. Platinum rushes over to see if she's okay, but she's so terrified that she can't even answer his questions. Still, the horse is acting erratically, so Moon Owl decides to step in when Alex appears and calms the animal down so quickly. My boy saved the day again. They return to the mansion, and because Obsidian has injured her leg, Moon Owl places a cast on it and adds a spell to aid in her recovery. He then asks her not to strain herself until she's completely recovered, while Platinum can't look her in the eye since he feels responsible for her fall off the horse. Still, he carries her to her room because walking could make her uncomfortable, which she agrees to, while Pearl feels confused because Marianne was good at horseback riding during the 4th season, and now wonders whether it was just luck. When Luri is alone in her room, Moon Owl arrives and tells her not to ride a horse again, prompting her to explain that she couldn't refuse when Platinum put her in the saddle. He then reminds her that, while imitating Marianne is vital, she should also consider her own capabilities because the more she tries and fails, the more others will suspect her. After that, he is relieved that Platinum has stopped being overly touchy with her, but he is concerned that if this act continues, Platinum's interest in her will decrease, so he advises her to improve her flirting abilities to keep him on the hook. Luri feels concerned since she doesn't know what to do, and Moon Owl promises her that they can take it step by step. But they are stopped when they hear a knock from Platinum, so Moon Owl leaves for now. How about you teach her and then fall in love? Anyway, Platinum takes a peek and tells her he brought her food, but she explains that she's fine and can walk normally because of the healing magic, so he assumes she's trying to kick him out. This makes Obsidian smile and assures him that he's welcome to stay, so the two of them set the table and start dining together. When Platinum asks whether he messed up today, Obsidian realizes that this guy assumed her fear of riding the horse had something to do with her husband's death. He then instinctively tries to grab her hand, but for the first time, he instantly lets go, claiming that he has no hidden goal and simply wants to console her after she helped him when he was in pain, which surprises Obsidian. Now that's better. Be a good boy, Platty. Meanwhile, in the control room, Moon Owl instructs the broadcast crew not to include the scene in which Obsidian falls from the saddle. Then one of the staff asks when the second meeting of truth will be scheduled, and notes that based on what they're monitoring, Obsidian and Platinum's closeness is now stable, which causes Moon Owl to smirk as if he already had a plan in mind. Can we have you as the main lead, though? So guys, what do you think of this story so far? Please subscribe and turn on notifications for updates on this and all our other stories, so you can be the first to find out when they're out. Thank you so much for your support. See you in the next one!